There are very few issues today, especially of socio-environmental nature, that can be resolved by one scientific discipline only. And that's the idea behind the transdisciplinary approach propagated by sustainability science. That's what we're trying to do, to break down the silos in which traditionally different scientific disciplines existed and try to provide solutions to the issues that people around the world face. This is especially true in under the current circumstances of climate change. Climate change poses socio-environmental challenges for communities around the world, in Southeast Asia, in the region where currently this symposium is taking place, that cannot be addressed by any single scientific discipline. No matter how solid that scientific approach might be to resolving an issue of land degradation, for instance, or coastal erosion, deforestation, no matter how well designed it is from a purely natural scientific point of view, it will fail if it does not take into account the social science approaches that target the people as the participants of this enterprise. So more and more we've come to understand that we have to start from the people, from the engagement of people at every level, local communities, local governments, local knowledge producers, universities or institutes, or people that, or indigenous communities themselves that have indigenous knowledge. So the question that we have today that we're facing through this also participatory processes is how do we bring all these different things together into a coherent transdisciplinary approach that we can then give to the policymakers, give to the government as a guideline about how to approach these complex issues. That's our primary objective. Resolving the most difficult questions today that deal with science and society and environment, most importantly, require a fundamental rethinking about how we relate to nature. And what that means is that when we're talking about transdisciplinary research and transdisciplinary education, we have to integrate into this elements that have to do with ethics and values. Values have to be part of the picture if we are to start thinking in new ways. And also principles of social inclusion. People have to be included in the scientific enterprise from the very beginning of trying to understand what the problems are to finding the solutions of those problems. That is how, by integrating social inclusion on one hand and ethical perspectives and values on the other hand, into the scientific enterprise, that we can start to address those fundamental problems that we're facing. At the end of the day, the most important question becomes, how do you get the scientists to move into that direction? And I think that the most important question here, or dilemma, is how to structure incentives that would enable or that would motivate the scientists to reach beyond their scientific enterprise. And that is, I think, the most important task for the funding organizations and the management of big organizations such as, I'll start from my own UNESCO, but also universities and different other institutions that deal with scientific questions in a very compartmentalized manner. We set aside a certain amount of budget for social and human sciences, another one for natural sciences, another one for arts and sports, etc. So this type of integrated thinking has to take place at the very beginning of how the pie is divided, and therefore how the incentives are made. Even if it is not happening, then the responsibility shifts to the scientists themselves. And what I would suggest for scientists to do is always think about the added value of bringing another science into the project or research design that is being developed in a constructive fashion. That would be my